Hello, this is the Math 159 Gould Chapter 2 Section 4 video about summarizing categorical distributions. So you might recall that several videos ago we talked about graphing numerical distributions and then summarizing them. Like you looked at the graph like the histogram, and then we talked about things like shape, outliers, center, and spread. Last video we talked about, well, how do you graph categorical distributions, and we looked at the bar chart, which is basically a graphical version of the frequency table. And now the question is, okay, let's say you have your frequency table, you have your bar chart. Well, how do you summarize categorical distributions? So using shape, outliers, center, and spread don't like for numeric variables don't work for categorical variables. So you're going to do something slightly different. So let's just get some data to look at here, and we'll do it with an example. So let's go to the Pokemon, because basically everything in this class is just use Pokemon to do it. And we have our frequency table for the type 1, what's it called, variable, the type variable. So let's copy this thing. Okay. Come on, I just want to copy this. Okay, let's see if that's going to work. Oh, perfect. Okay, cool. And then we'll copy this. Okay, oops. 1 second. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's switch over to OneNote. Okay, cool. So what we have here is, let's see if we can change the font size a little, maybe. Make this a little easier to look at. Didn't really change anything. Calibri. Let's go down to 88. Okay, cool. Best we can do. Okay, so what we have here is our type variable, water, right, was the most frequent, 114, normal 105, grass 78, and so on. And then here is the graph. You can see all of that, right? You can see that water was the most common, normal, and grass, and so on. Okay, so, oops, sorry. So after you have the frequency table and bar chart, it is fairly easy to summarize the distribution. So most importantly, you should point out any modes. So remember that modes are the most frequent value. And remember, you can be bimodal and things like that. So if we look at this, you can see right away that normal and water are basically the most frequently occurring. And what you would want to do is you'd want to give a little summary. So summary. So the normal and water types are most common. They comprise respectively 114 and what was the other amount? 105 of the total, which is, and then what was the percentage? 14 and 13%, which are 14% and 13% respectively. Okay, so we've pointed out, hey, look, these are the most common. Like, there are 114, one of them is 114 and 14%, the other one is 105 Pokemon and 13%. Okay, those are the most common, and then usually you want to point out very small groups. So if you look at the flying Pokemon, there are 3. There is also a rather small group of flying Pokemon, which are 3. of which there are 3, which is about 0.3%. Okay, so when you're summarizing, basically when you're summarizing these things, all you really want to do is you want the table. So here we have the table. You want the bar chart. And then you want to give a nice little narrative summary, pointing out, hey, like, look, these are the most common, these are the most common types. Here's like a very uncommon type, and that's it. So it's pretty straightforward.